Well, guys, now it's time for today's guest. Trent Shelton is a former NFL wide receiver who seemed to have it all together till everything fell apart. Through that adversity, he discovered the secret to finding promise in the darkest of times, and now he's sharing that secret in his new book, The Greatest You. Face reality, release negativity, and live your purpose. Here to tell us more is Trent Shelton.
How you doing? Good.
Welcome.
How you doing? How you
Welcome
doing?
to the table.
Thanks for having me.
So I love the title of this book.
Sure.
It's like, it makes me want to pick it up because I know I'll be inspired. So tell me the inspiration behind writing it.
Yeah, well, just my journey and my struggle. I really want to help people turn their pain into their power. So I felt that's what I did with my life. I mean, losing's my everything, my identity in football since I was 5 years old. And so I wanted people to know that the greatest you is not something externally. It's not a job or position that you find. It's really inside of yourself. So it's a journey of unbecoming to find that greatest you inside of you.
I was literally just talking about this with a friend. When you're somebody who knows what you want to do and you're ambitious and you seek it out, and then when you either reach it or it ends, it is like this huge identity crisis. So what was that time like for you?
It was the hardest time in my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what do I do with my life now? So for a lot of people, it might be a relationship, a job, and when it's over, you feel like your life is over.
Yeah.
So I went through suicidal thoughts. I went through questioning myself. I'm like, man, like this is my everything. What else is there to my life? And rock bottom changed my life though. The birth of my son, and unfortunately one of my closest friends committing suicide really helped change my life.
Wow, that sounds like a tough time.
Yeah, very tough.
Yeah.
So what are your tips for finding promise during the darkest times?
Well, I would have to tell you that it all starts with you. You know, I think a lot of times when we're going through struggle and pain, we always point the finger at everybody else. At least I know I did. I'm like, it's everybody's fault. It's the coach's fault for cutting me. It's my parents' fault for not making me fast enough, right? It's everybody's fault. But until you point the thumb at yourself and say, you know, it's on me, that gives you power to do something with your life. And I think that's the first step, is taking responsibility.
Yeah.
I love that. And what did you do personally to get yourself on the right path?
So for me, my faith was the big thing for me. My faith in God, that really helped me and changed my life and changed my whole trajectory of where I want to go. And also my rehab process. So it's a 3-step process. It's pretty simple. First is reality. And I like to tell people you'll never win your war by running from your battles. The second thing was release. And this is a big part, was that what bridge in your life that need to be burned? Because there's certain bridges in your life that need to be burned because there's certain things you cannot afford to go back to. So that might be habits, that might be people. And the last step was repair. What do I need to put in my life to actually better myself and push myself forward? And so I had to change my environment, I had to change my friends, and I had to read books. I didn't like reading books, so now I wrote it, so it's crazy.
That bridges part is real.
Yeah.
She had to burn some bridges today on the show. People not responding to her text messages in the correct form. What advice do you have for people, because we all have dreams, and
Right.
sometimes that dream is really about getting on that professional level, like being an athlete or an actor. So what happens, what would you say to people who literally at the point in their life where they know that that's not going to happen for them?
Yeah, I mean, that's just I'm big on this. This is just the title. I mean, the position at the end of the day. I think sometimes you have to let go of and this is hard, you have to let go of what you want to do and grab a hold of what you're called to do. I never wanted to be a speaker. I'm an introverted person. I never wanted to write books. But I realized in sharing my story and how it affected millions of people across the world, this is what I was called to do. So that's a hard process, but sometimes your dreams are just for you. They're selfish, but maybe you have a purpose in your life that's way bigger than you that will help a lot of people.
I love that.
Beautiful.
And many celebrities, public figures, people in general coming forward talking about toxic work environments, which I think a lot of people struggle with, and it's hard because work is how you make money. You have to go to work. How can people break free from the toxicity?
As far as in your work environment?
Yeah.
Well, you have to focus on what you can control. For one, my thing is coming to your work environment the best you. I call it protecting your peace. And so how do you start your day? A lot of people, they start their day on defense by responding. The first thing that most people do is what? Grab their phone, and they're responding to the world. And so what I like to do is live an intentional day. I call it the 4 A's. It's something simple. The first A is appreciation, gratefulness. Over 150,000 people die every day. You're still here. You're trying to find something to be grateful for. Be grateful for your life. The second A is affection. I say a hug a day keeps depression away. So I hug my daughter, hug my wife. My boy is 10 years old, so it's kind of weird. The third A is accomplishment. And so how you start your day will influence your day. Find one thing that you can control, that you can win, whether it's making up your bed, washing your dishes, whatever. And then the fourth A, which is big, is activity. In Texas, I like to go for a hike. I like to release those endorphins in my body, and I like to create movement because movement influences mood. And so when you start your day off like that, self-care It's not selfish.
Right.
And you're in a better place when you enter the workplace.
Right. In the book, you talk a lot about forgiveness, and especially forgiving yourself, which I have found, and a lot of people find, is hard to do. And that's sometimes the hardest thing to do. What do you recommend how people can begin that process of forgiving themselves for something they, believe they did wrong? Or
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself this question. Do you want to carry this emotional weight the rest of your life? Like, life is already hard. Life is a mountain, and you wouldn't carry unnecessary weight climbing up a mountain. So let it go, because it doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve your future, and it doesn't serve other people around you. We've all made mistakes. Everybody. There's not a perfect person in this world, and when you can own that and learn from your mistakes, it'll help you become the greatest you.
And you mentioned you're married now with 2 children in Texas.
One on the way, too.
Oh, congratulations.
For sure.
That's awesome. But before all this, you and your wife Maria did go through a rough patch. How did you overcome that?
It was tough. So Tristan wasn't planned. That was about 10 years ago, and me and Maria wasn't together. And at first, it was hard because I'm gonna just be real with you. Like, I wasn't a man. I was blaming her for things. I wasn't the guy that people see now. And it took me facing that reality with myself and realizing, like, this is my son, and he's gonna follow my footsteps. So Tristan made me become a better man. And then me and Maria, we said, you know what, it's not about us. Like, if we're not gonna be together, we're not gonna be together. We're gonna set up the best functional environment for our kids. And over time, we ended up falling in love with each other, getting to know each other even more, and this is the result.
Oh,
Love
that's
that.
so beautiful. And you are the founder of the Christian-based nonprofit Rehab Time.
Yep.
So tell us about what that does.
Yeah, so Rehab Time is basically this. My goal when I started, I wanted to be the #1 online community for self-worth. And I think we're kind of getting there, but we just help people put strength into their weaknesses. Whether it's from an online standpoint, we have rehab sports for kids, events that people can come to for free, all of those things just to uplift and help people change their lives.
That's really amazing. And before you go, what do you most attribute, what quality of yours do you most attribute to sort of getting you to where you are today?
That's a tough question. Outside of my faith, I would say something they call emotional resilience. And emotional resilience is, everybody feels emotions. I have days where I don't feel like doing. People are like, Trent, you're always happy. Absolutely not. I'm not. But I don't give up because I have a bigger picture, a bigger why, a bigger reason that pushes me through. So emotional resilience is very key if you want to create something great in your life.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I love that optimism and positivity. We need more of that. So thank you, Trent.
Thank
for
you. I
joining us.
appreciate you guys. Thank you.